When it comes to character names, our minds often turn toward the protagonist, which is the main character of a story. We might have an affinity for a protagonist named Mary, for example. She is someone we come to like. She is who we cheer for from the sidelines as we read our way through the novel. We may even see a bit of ourselves in Mary. But what if the protagonist isn't a traditional good girl? How does the character who may be deemed unlikable get their name? Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Tanya E. Williams, author of historical women's fiction, and today on Author Notes, we're talking about naming characters who don't fit the standard mold of a flawed, but generally well-intentioned protagonist. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit subscribe, and you'll be notified each week when I release new videos covering topics that shape a story idea into a novel readers will enjoy. Previously, we talked about how the characters in Becoming Mrs. Smith were named. If you haven't seen that video yet, I'll link it for you below. Naming characters is mostly a happy experience. I would go as far as to say the process is attributes of a fairy tale at times. The clouds may part and the birds may sing when an author lands on the perfect name for their heroine. That wasn't the case for me when it came to naming the protagonist in Stealing Mr. Smith. As readers, we are used to seeing villains as obstacles as they lurk in the shadows, popping their head up to challenge our beloved protagonist. In this type of setting, it's easy for us to spot the thorn in our protagonist's side. In Stealing Mr. Smith, however, the main character, Bernice Rosin, is both the protagonist and also the obstacle. The second novel in the Smith family series is actually written as a negative character arc, which means instead of the typical manner in which a protagonist learns and grows and becomes a better version of themselves as the story draws to a close, Bernice, because of her own faults, continues to fall prey to her character flaws instead. Even though Bernice gets what she thinks she wants by the end of the story, she hasn't found enlightenment the same way most protagonists do. As a side note, this sets Bernice up to fall further into an unhappy life in the third and final novel in the series titled A Man Called Smith. Naming Bernice was one of my biggest challenges when it came to writing the novel. I spent days wandering around trying to come up with a name that was fitting for her negative character arc. It was also important for me to find a name that elicited strength, since Bernice always believes she is the heroine in her own story. And though she may not be a traditional protagonist, she is still very much a strong and determined one. And for that, she is due some credit. I landed on a few solid options for names, but each time I hit a new snag in my character naming process. My conscience wouldn't let me give this troubled character a name if I personally happened to know someone with the same name. Talk about shrinking the idea pool. Now, I am certain there are many wonderful, lovely, kind women named Bernice in the world. I, however, don't know anyone with that name, so I apologize if your name happens to be Bernice. Please trust me when I say I wasn't thinking of you when I wrote Stealing Mr. Smith. When it came to crafting Bernice as a character, I spent oodles of time on her backstory. I did this because I wanted readers to understand where she came from. Like all good protagonists, there is a reason why they are the way they are. For Bernice, I needed her to have a hard early life, so her desire to become something different was knitted into the fabric of her being and became a believable part of her psyche. I countered Bernice and her negative character arc in a couple of ways throughout the story. I gave her several supporting cast members who are truly delightful characters and end up being a joy to spend time with. I also intentionally gave Bernice the nickname of Bernie, but I limited the nickname's use so that only her immediate family of parents and siblings would refer to her as such in her early years, and if they popped up later in the story. This approach adds further softness to Bernice's past, letting the reader know she was loved by her family, even though she spirals downward. In contrast, I gave Bernice's younger sister Patricia the nickname of Patty, and maintained that nickname for all who knew the girl, as her nickname matched her character attributes of being spunky and loving, and it's a subtle way to help a reader feel a stronger connection to Patty's character. As a reader, I think negative character arcs are fascinating. Even though we may love to hate a character due to their spiraling ways, they are generally interesting characters in their own right, and even through their mistakes. They teach us something about ourselves and the world around us. How about you? Do you enjoy a negative character arc in a novel? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe so YouTube knows that you like this content. Thanks for watching. Happy reading!